Hello everyone, this is Glenn Hendrickson here with Ion Apologetics, and today we're talking about one verse in particular, out of many, but one verse today which discusses the deity of Jesus Christ. And when I say the deity of Christ, this is going to be in contradiction to what a lot of cults will say, that either Jesus was a god, where, for instance, in Mormonism, they teach that there are a plurality of gods, that the Father is a god, that the Son, Jesus, is another god, that the Holy Spirit is another god, and if you do everything right someday, you'll be a god too. Or you could talk about Jehovah's Witnesses, another large cult, which their theology maintains that Jesus is divine, but not in the sense that he's God. And they have the Father as God, but the Son is really not God. He's a created being. So he's not truly divine in the sense that the Father is, according to their theology. And this verse is one of many which combats both of those, and many other cults which take issue with the biblical doctrine of the Trinity. And here we are, we're going to be in John, the Gospel of John, chapter 20, verse 28. I have logos on the screen. Hopefully the letters are large enough. They're larger than I normally use them for the sake of the video here. But in the English Standard Version, which I'm using, get my mouse to hold still here. Thomas answered him, "My Lord and my God." Now, for context, I would ask that you maybe pause the video and read chapter 20 in its entirety, or you could go back even further if you want. But in short, the resurrection has happened. Jesus appears to Mary Magdalene. He appears to the apostles, Thomas being absent, and then if I could scroll up a bit here, he wasn't with them when Jesus came in verse 24. So the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord," but he said to them, "Unless I see the hands and the mark of his nails, place my finger in the mark of the nails, place my hand in his side, I will never believe." So you have Thomas's popular doubting. Then 8 days later, this interaction takes place. Jesus comes in. The doors are locked, and which is kind of miraculous, because have you ever entered a room through a locked door? You got to unlock it, but Jesus doesn't need that because he's God. Here we have him saying, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here and see my hands. Put out your hand and place it in my side. Do not disbelieve, but believe." So Thomas answers him, "My Lord and my God." He calls Jesus his Lord and his God. And I can highlight here, we have the highlighting here, it highlights the word. So in English Standard Version, the word God is translated from ho-theos, which is the Greek word for God, and it's used of the Father. So words used of the Father are also used of the Son here without any qualification. Just as the Father is Lord and God, Jesus is called Lord and God by Thomas. And if this weren't true, if Jesus didn't like this, he had a golden opportunity to say, no, don't call me that. It's wrong to call me God if I'm not God. But because Jesus is God, he accepts it. Verse 29, Jesus said to him, "Have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." So Jesus' response to Thomas's profession of belief and his identification of him as God is met with a thank you. It's yes, thank you for believing. He's acknowledging the belief that he sees in Thomas, because when you truly believe in Jesus, you will acknowledge that he is God. So that is the response of Thomas. That is the response of any believer throughout the ages, to see that Jesus is fully God. Now, this verse, like I said, is one of many. It is not the only verse that this doctrine of Jesus' divinity hinges on, but I wanted to share it here. Sometimes people get hung up that maybe Thomas was just exclaiming, "Wow, my God," like, you know how a lot of people will say, "My God," when they're really shocked about something, and it's not really the most pious use of the word. But that's not the case, because Thomas isn't just exclaiming it. He answers him. He's speaking to Jesus. And I pulled up in the corner here. I'm actually going to move this over so you can see it better, and my face down here isn't covering it. Logos has a text comparison feature, and I pulled up a few other translations. So in the King James 1990, "And Thomas answered and said unto him, My Lord and my God." So we just read the ESV where he answered him. Thomas answered and said, "To him, my Lord and my God." So he's not exclaiming it. Here we have the NASB, New American Standard Bible 95 translation. He is saying to him, to Jesus, my Lord and my God. He's not just shouting it out. He's saying it to Jesus, and Jesus accepts that. The NIV, Thomas said, "To him, my Lord and my God." The New Revised Standard, Thomas answered him, "My Lord and my God." So that's more similar to the ESV, which is probably my favorite English translation, although it's not the only one I use. But the fact that Thomas answered him, it's implicit here. And like we see here, it's explicit in other versions. The Greek word, let me see here, I'm learning Greek here. The Greek word auto, if I could get that one just highlighted here, is the dative form of the pronoun. And because it's dative, it is with reference to him. It could also be in or with, but in the context here, he is speaking to Jesus. So the Greek supports this doctrine that Thomas is addressing Jesus and calling him God, and Jesus accepts that identification. So thank you for watching. We'll be posting more of these videos in the days and weeks to come. I hope it's been of use to you. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them in the comments box below. I hope you'll subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. God bless.